is on record saying that the guitars were recorded on custom-built amps designed to be so loud no one from the band was capable of going to the same room as them.
Yes.
Welcome to Every Album Ever with Mike and Alex. My name is Michael Mansour, and I'm joined, as always, by my sleepy co-host, Alexander Volt. Say hello.
Hello.
That's right. This is Every Album Ever, the podcast where we listen to every single album in the world, one artist at a time. That's a whole discography per episode. And today, we'll be discussing every album by
the beautiful, weedy Sleep.
Sleep, Sleep, Sleep. Oh, baby, this is Alex's lucky day. This is an Alex pick.
Oh, I don't even know how it happened, but I was like, I need it.
Yep. Longtime fan, Alex.
It's crazy. Yes. I'm sure there's longer time fans, but
how long time?
Since I was 20.
20.
I don't know.
That's a good while, dude.
I don't know if I shared the Sleep universe, because it's like Sleep, Ohm, High on Fire.
We've talked a little bit about High on Fire. You've cited Ohm many times in the past.
Yes.
We've talked about Sleep here and there. We never really jumped in.
So I was getting my beautiful, painful back tattoo, and it's like 5 sessions.
Yeah.
And the guy doing it plays this fucking band. Not Sleep. It was Ohm.
Oh.
And I just felt like so bonded to those albums.
Holy shit.
And he like bought me, like, this is how old he like burned me the CDs.
Nice. Those are the good days, dude. The burned CDs.
And I've just been in love with them ever since. We did cover Shrine Builder, though.
Yes, we did. Go check out that episode. And we have covered a little bit of doom metal, a teeny bit with St. Vitus. Go check out that episode too. People don't like us for that one, but it's,
really?
It's okay. We shot on that first singer quite a bit. We're wino men. We like our wino.
Hey, yeah. I like guys who are like, man, my life's a mess. I need to get sober. Let me go to the desert and do some peyote.
If it works, it works.
Also, Al and Wino might fucking hate each other.
Do they?
But now we know the true monster was actually Scott Kelly.
Now we know. Behind the scenes, he was manipulating with all of them like he did with his family. He was manipulating the whole band.
Yeah, now we know it wasn't Al or Wino.
I just love Wino. Like, he's such a fucking interesting character. I mean, he's not even in this band. We'll get to Al.
Whatever.
And Matt.
It's Wino adjacent.
Yeah, it's Wino. Yeah, he's such an interesting guy, and it's like, I don't want to. You might get into some shit hanging around that guy, but I don't mind that guy.
Sure.
From afar, I don't mind that guy.
I think one of the best descriptions I ever heard of him was like, if there's anyone that like should have been a rock star.
Oh yeah, it was Dave Grohl who said that, right?
Or someone. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They're like, it's fucking Wino. Wino is the only person in the world who like should have been a rock star.
I think it might have been Dave Grohl. Yeah. Because he was also on Probot, which we covered that as well.
Yeah.
Dude, Wino's brutal. But now we talk about Sleep. Sleep, arguably one of the most influential metal bands, probably.
At least in the stoner metal genre, they are.
Yeah, like the kings, originators.
The kings of the weed mountain.
So I think of like Electric Wizard and a bunch of other bands who blatantly ripped off Black Sabbath. I mean, that's how I know of it.
Yeah.
I mean, Electric Wizard is just literally written on the name of the band, but like, that's just the thing. It's pentatonic. We sound just like Black Sabbath, and that is not my bag.
It is very much is my bag.
It is Alex's bag to a fucking T. Sleep is a little different, a little interesting.
To be fair, Sleep did put out an album called the Ionic Life EP. So
I don't know the reference.
Tony Iommi.
Sorry. Oh, wow. Holy shit. That is more on the nose than I could have ever imagined. And also Volume 1 and Volume 2. And Volume 2 is the same cover as Volume 4 from Black Sabbath.
Giza Butler.
But the song Giza, but they're not hiding. They're not pretending they're not influenced by Black Sabbath. So it can't be that bothered by it.
Yeah.
It's not like, they're not passing off as like, no, this is our sound. It's like, we love Black Sabbath and we love weed. And that's what Sleep is.
Yes. This is a very much, and I'm not even exaggerating, a holy worshiping experience of weed and Black Sabbath.
They literally worship marijuana and Black Sabbath.
Like,
Maybe they worship marijuana more. Like literally worship marijuana.
they 100% do.
Yeah.
Also, just like their whole story in the 90s is so interesting, and it's so fun to think of like a world where maybe like sleep did get popular. Like, would this be called grunge, or like would grunge music change? Like,
well, that's the thing, because you can kind of classify Melvins. Go check out all those episodes. Melvins as grunge, but they pioneered sludge metal, and they were sludge metal. I mean, they were like the first sludge metal band, along with, I guess you count Black Flag if you want, but this is at the same time period as those the sludge Melvins albums. It's in the same kind of vibe as them for the most part. Some songs more than others, but there's a lot of sludginess here. I don't think they'd fit in very well with grunge at all. I think they would have been kicked out immediately.
They are. There's a little bit too much 70s worship going on. But not in a way that feels like derivative, in a way that maybe like a band like Jet or Wolfmother does.
So I would say if you just isolate the riffs, you play the riffs, you learn the riffs on your own guitar, it is 1,000,000% derivative.
Yeah.
You put on the record, it's not quite as derivative.
No.
They have a personality and a presentation that is, it is not accessible. It is not like your dad's heavy metal.
No, the albums appropriately, one more than others, are experiences. Like, it's one thing to hear like Dragonaut or other songs, but like to sit and listen to these albums are experiences. They are
indeed experiences. I hate saying this, but it's so dependent on where you're at and what you're doing. If I listen to all these albums on a super long drive and was not that receptive.
Oh, okay.
And like there's parts like, oh, that's very cool, I'll give that up. Otherwise, like, it's just fucking pentatonic, heavy stoner metal. What's the big deal? Change the setting. I was able to focus more. I'm like, God damn it, that rules.
It does. A bit of a spoiler alert, and I'll get more in depth. Like, Dopesmoker used to be a challenge to listen to, and it was a challenge I was willing to do here and there. This because for reasons, it's just so fascinating to me. Yep. Now,
just it's a breeze.
It's a breeze.
That album song has been in my periphery and in my life for so long now. Yeah. And I've heard it. I couldn't tell you if I've heard the whole thing. Yeah. But I've definitely heard a lot of it. Yeah. And this is my first time like sitting down and absorbing to the point where I got fucking rip stoned last night listening to Dopesmoker. I had to complete the experience. I had to know.
This band is so weedy. I floated the idea to Mike about maybe getting high for this episode.
We wouldn't get through the episode.
No.
I wouldn't be reading at all. I would be stuck.
No. But that's how prominent weed is in this band.
It is. It's called Dopesmoker, for Christ's sake. But there is more to them.
This would make Cypress Hill blush. No, maybe not. But they'd appreciate it.
I think they would. So, yeah, man, these guys. So we have some notes here from our boy Tom Osman, who should all go support and follow because he does a lot of work for us and he's rad. This is from Monster Riff. It's called Dopesmoker: How Sleep's Magnum Opus Ended the Band's Career from 2019.
We could do an episode on that fucking album.
Yes. And which is, if this episode is lengthy in any way,
it's going to be because of
that album. Yeah. I'm just going to call it here. But that's the big, juicy, meaty part of the band's history is revolving around that time period. Before that, though, we get some growing, and it's an interesting band from the get-go. It's not really... They weren't what we know of as Sleep. That is not how it started.
No, they were in a band, one word, Asbestos Death. Yep. And started off as a trio, expanded to include Matt Pike.
Fucking gangster, dude.
I wonder if he was not wearing shirts back then, too.
No chance he owned a shirt.
But also featured guitarist Tom Choi. Yeah. And yeah, they just had a few singles, and then from that spawned Sleep. Oh, left. Or no, he's not here yet. But
okay. So yeah, it started. They just slowly became Sleep, and they put up their first record in 90. Well, so we're gonna be covering 4 albums total. First one came out in 1991. Last one 2018 Reunion, and so the first album, is that their only album as a 4-piece?
Yes.
Yeah. So they had Justin Marler on guitar at that time, and
even that guy's crazy.
Is he? So we had the main 3. Al Cisneros, who apparently I didn't know his name was Luke. He was originally
I didn't know
Luke,
that either.
Luke Cisneros?
No, I don't like that. He's Al.
He's Al, dude.
Forever.
Oh, is that his birth name? No. He just...
Is that a typo, or...
I don't know.
Maybe he didn't want his real identity out in public.
Maybe. They just... I don't know, but he is credited as Luke. Chris Hakias on drums and Matt Pike on guitar. Al on bass and vocals. And... So that's the core 3, and I guess we could just jump into it. You want to just jump into it?
Yeah, because there's like things I want to talk about ahead, but we got to go in order.
Because where are they from? Did we know?
San Jose.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
a little bit Bay Area. Yeah, so you might as well fucking get into it. So here we go, baby. This is 1991's Volume 1.
I almost hesitate if I should put this on, but what?
Oh yeah.
I should have done a timestamp, but...
That's right.
We'll just sit in the Tuvan throat singing.
Yeah! It's good atmosphere. I feel nice and warm listening to this.
This band is absolutely but not in like a white noise sort of way.
No, you're not gonna like meditate. Well, you can meditate to this. It's weird.
That's what Ohm's for.
That is some sludge metal, dude.
Dude, it's crazy to like if I heard it now, it's like, oh, obviously this band likes the Melvins.
Sounds like the Melvins.
And I know the Melvins have a little bit of head start on them, but like still early 90s.
This fucking rules. The way they go into this kind of brutal clean section and then slow it down as they're going into the clean section. So much of that, like we're gonna go into this next section and we're slower.
Yeah, tempo changes are always maddening.
You got Al doing some like lower sung vocals, which becomes very common, but on this album, this is like the only time he's like singing.
Yeah.
He's a fucking screamer on here.
You don't really get these like ugly vocals the same way in other albums.
Do not. I think they sound awesome. Those drum choices feel very Dale.
Yeah.
They really do.
Which is also funny that Dale would end up replacing Chris in Shrine Builder.
Did he? Oh, in Shrine Builder. Yeah.
In Shrine Builder. The worst, least favorite. It's
my taste will change. My picks will change. I imagine as of right now, personal favorite.
Fuck. You're pulling a strapping young lad. This is it's this at times a little rough around the edges for
100%.
me.
It is.
Yeah.
The thing is, my argument is that they're all rough around the edges. One or a couple less rough than others, but this one, it's rough, but it is fucking twisted. It is
twisted.
The most fucked up. This album
is the ugliest.
It is not only the ugliest, it is the only one not doing Black Sabbath.
Okay, yeah, it's the more like doom sludge.
It is doom sludge. There's very little stoner here, maybe except lyrically, and the riffs. Where later, one album from now, we're gonna get all this pentatonic hard rock stuff, all this Black Sabbath stuff. Here, it is basically death metal riffs slowed way the fuck down.
Yeah, once in a while with a song like "Numb," you'll get some like Sabbathy riffs.
Yeah, for sure.
Should say the Suffering, Anguish, and Scourge are re-recordings of Asbestos Death songs.
Really?
Not like Asbestos Death didn't have like a crazy career or anything, but just a nice little tidbit.
I like all those songs. I like all these songs. I think every song is great. Yeah,
there's just times like on the Suffering, where I'm like, oh yeah, those transitions and the bridges and the drum fills are a little rough. Like this does sound very much like a young band, or has more of like a demo quality to it.
It's sloppy as shit. The whole album is I mean, they're a sloppy band. They're very messy, but this is like the most sloppy. The Suffering, around 2:15, they start progressively getting faster and faster and faster. The song starts getting, tempos going up, and you can tell by how sloppy it is, how not used to going fast they are.
Yeah,
it's like, ooh, I still think it's a rad song. I love it.
If anything, to me, it makes the next album more impressive. How much better they sound and got in like the span of a year. It's just nuts.
The musicianship wise, for sure. I love the absolute guttural rawness of this one. The rawness never really goes away, but here it is the most intense. It's the most brutal.
Yeah.
Numb, it comes in clean, but it fucking still feels just like, damn, that hurts.
Yeah. Appropriately. These songs are also appropriate titled, like, yeah, Anguish is like some of their like meanest, nastiest stuff you'll hear.
Yeah, that's like, so what track is that? What number is that? It's like halfway through.
4. Yeah.
Never mind. It's 4. But by that point, like, you already know what they're doing by that track.
Yeah.
Like you get, from the first 3 tracks and then that one, if you're on board, it rules. And I am on board. It's such a mean and heavy song. I love it. Catatonic is one of the best songs here. It absolutely fucking rips.
I agree with you on there. It's also like Catatonic and Scourge. If you're like a fan of Sleep, Ohm, and High on Fire, like all 3 of them, like the way I am, those 2 songs are cool, where you can like hear all these like different parts of their DNA in those 2 songs. So that's why I enjoy them.
Scourge is a weird one. It has this odd, like strangely catchy main riff in like a campy evil kind of way. It's also instrumental but it has these wacky moments. It almost reminds me of the first South Park theme, the Primus one, like the very first early one.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about, because I went with like, that's like almost like reggae, the way they do the guitar on like reggae songs.
Because it is a clean guitar, but it's just very quirky.
Yeah, it doesn't sound reggae, but like the way they do
picking
like
style. The picking style. It's a strange fucking song. I like it. I think it's fun as hell.
And then that bass is almost like, sounds more like slint driven. It is very interesting.
Pray is another totally fucked up one that I absolutely love. These sections sound like production wise sound just like Glueport Treatment's Melvin's era.
Yeah, I think Pray, that song being rough around the edges is a big plus to it, because that very much, you brought up the Melvins, like some Black Flag stuff. Like, I think if there's any song that plays into the rough production and playing, it's Pray.
Yeah, they have these like, I don't know, I'll call them horror harmonies. They're harmonies, but they're just really dissonant and really fucked up sounding. What is it? The Wall of Yon has this really cool, fast tribal intro. It's like the fastest, most energetic thing on the album at that point. Then, and this is what happens a lot in the album. It starts out with this energy, and you think it's going to keep up the momentum. It's going to go into this next section, and then it gives your brain whiplash almost.
Yeah. With Sleep and Neurosis, there was this like initial thing where I thought I didn't like it at first, because in music, we're so used to these like big traditional payoffs.
Yeah. These, what do we call it? The fucking crescendos and all that.
Yeah, where on this album in particular, or Neurosis, they're almost like anti-crescendos.
Yeah. And you feel, the funny thing about them is it's not a smooth Like, all right, we're going fast, and now it's like we're going faster, and it's like if you feel like someone slamming on the brakes, you feel like someone like pulling the reins on a horse, where all the members are slowing down at different tempos, or like trying to slow down at the same. It's like
you feel it in your soul.
You feel them like burning rubber, like trying to like slam on the brakes. Like oh shit! It's nothing clean or abrupt about it. It's like oh shit! They're trying to slow themselves down. It's a very interesting sound. It's fucking weird. What is it? And also on the Wall of Yarn, it has this really cool clean section, which I could say about the whole album. The clean sections are so sadistic and great. I love the clean stuff on this album.
It is a fascinating listen. It's maybe not a fan maker or what Sleep is known for, but if you're a fan of doom, sludge, stoner metal, or you just like this crazy world of Al and Matt.
Yeah, I think it's super underrated for that, because no one talks about this album. I've never heard anybody reference this album, and Al's vocals are my favorite on this album compared to any other album. Yeah. He has basically different vocals on every album.
He does.
And this is my favorite. It's the most harsh, the most like guttural and pained. He's like really screaming, and it's a cool scream. It sounds, and it especially fits with these fucked up songs. There's trace amounts of Sabbath influence. Like they're still there. Like, oh, this part's a little bit more rocky than the other, but it doesn't feel anything. It doesn't feel like redundant at any point, because all the other riffs are so fucked up and wrong. Yeah, like I said, it's like death metal played super slow and raw and gritty and messy. And the production is definitely a low point. There's no crunch to it. There's a lot of space in the mix. The drums feel very lonely, but that almost adds to like how shitty it is. I don't mean shitty as like the album sucks. Like it sounds like a fucking butcher, a butcher's house. What do you call it? Fucking what's a place where you butcher things?
A meat market. I don't know.
You go to Ralph's, the market. Yeah. I don't know. It feels dirty. It feels grimy. It feels shitty and messed up. And the songs reflect that entirely, and it pumps me up. I think it's fucking rad.
All right.
Yeah. So Alex is Worsley's favorite. I imagine by the logic of they only get better.
Yeah. There's that too, but
it is rough.
I think if the playing was a little bit better, it would have been more of a Sophie's choice for me.
I also like it because it's the only really different one. I mean, they all have differences, but this one is like, this is barely the band. I mean, it's the band because it sounds heavy and slow, but the writing style is completely different writing style.
I like all these albums, every single one of them.
This was produced by Billy Anderson, who is, he's a bit of a superstar with bands that we like. He's also produced Neurosis, Swans, Melvins, Brutal Truth, Buzz Oven, who I don't know, Phantomos, Agalok. Is that how you pronounce that? I don't know them. I know the name of them. I don't know.
I always said it like that.
Cattle Decap, Mr. Bungle, Sunder, Red House, Painters, Wounded Giant. So this album may sound like shit, but he's learning. I don't know.
He's learning, and obviously got better too. Because Alcoholic, those albums sound amazing. I don't know which one he did, but
and this, I wonder when that was compared to this one. But this piece on Sleep, it says what we kind of can surmise hearing the album. It says, while the album earned them a small devoted cult following, they didn't enjoy much attention outside of the doom metal scene.
Which is not a big scene, really. And then, it's crazy. The Holy Mountain, like I said, this sounds like a demo. What we're about to hear are actually demos.
I did not know that. We're going to get into it. Yeah. Before this next album, though, they put out Volume 2, the EP, which we didn't cover it here because it's just a couple Sabbath covers.
And then 2 songs are
on another EP. Yeah, that we're going to be covering elsewhere. So the EPs are pretty inconsequential, I think, as far as the grand scheme of it. But now we got the first big album. It's on This is where they signed to Earache.
Yes.
Big development. Al is now going by Al instead of Luke for some reason.
Yeah.
Here we go, baby. This is 1992's Sleep's Holy Mountain. Their most famous song?
Yeah. Well, now I wonder.
This is the only one that I can imagine normies hearing.
For sure. You can play this for normies.
And I have.
Yeah. This is a great song where you think it's like, oh, this is just like 4/4 70s rock. It
Sounds like Sabbath.
It's not 4/4, right? It's a little more. Like it's a little more.
No, it's 4/4.
Okay.
But it's just a cool rhythm.
Yeah, okay.
But I mean, this is just Sabbath. And it's gonna get pretty shortly. It's gonna become more stoner metal. But even though it sounds just like Sabbath, it is a lot meaner is one way to put it. Dirtier is another way to put it. Drooling is another way to put it.
Yeah.
It's also that those effects on that bass is pretty funny there.
Al's probably one of my favorite bass players ever.
Interesting dude. And now say goodbye to that riff for the rest of the song. Because this is the song.
I think that's why it works, because it's not like pure Sabbath tribute.
Because that was pure Sabbath. Now we're doing stoner metal. And now this is how Al sings for this album.
Yeah,
Just way different.
He sounds more like what we know now.
He does this probably more than any other style, for sure.
Also, like, it just fucking grooves. If you like hard rock, like, you cannot not like this song.
It's simple, but it fucking works. And it's a great song. It's so fucking like pentatonic and mean and hard rock, but it's fucking cool.
Also, this was not an easy choice.
I know. I can feel it in your soul, dude.
I wanted to be different, but whatever. I'm just gonna give this best.
All right.
I
disagree.
I think there's an album where the playing is probably better and more unique, but goddamn, does this album just feel good start to finish?
Interesting.
I get why this album kind of like grew in legend as they like broke up, because it looks like it's from the 70s. It sounds like it's from the 70s, but it's just this it's this crazy thing where like we covered Caius.
Yep.
And Caius kind of took a while to like get there, I think. I know people love Blues for the Red Sun.
Yeah.
But like to me, this is just like a more polished.
I because I wasn't huge on Caius. I liked them, but I mean the vocals were like a huge point for me where I had to like really focus and ignore them just out of taste. I think I would prefer this for sure over that album, but I do think this is a bit overrated. I don't understand it that much. I the first time I heard it, I was like, I'm pretty bored. The second time I heard it, I was like, I'm not as bored. But there are moments where I'm like, I am dipping out. Well,
also I didn't even read these notes that I guess this and Blues for the it's this 1992
albums. Yeah,
there's like this throwback to groovier, heavy music.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's been a minute since I've listened to this, and I was just like, I thought I was gonna get bored, but I never did.
So now they're doing the pentatonic stuff, and they're still sludgy, and they're still sloppy and messy, but not as much. Not as like, it feels way more like a style now somehow. It doesn't feel so much like these dudes just trying to like throw demos together, even though you said this was a demo.
Yes, they recorded this as a demo, sent it in to Earache, and Earache's like, no, this is great.
That's another
this is fine. We can just put this out.
That's another come on Pilgrim from the Pixie situation.
Yeah, and then I'm not exactly sure in the timeline where it happened, if it was like the same time where they just sent a bunch of demos out and then got multiple responses, or if it was after this, but they also, got the call from London Records.
Oh yeah, it was after this.
It was after this?
Yeah, it was for the next album.
Okay.
So yeah, here's...
Well, let's talk about the music.
Yeah, here is just... They're on Earache here, but... So my biggest problem... And it's not even a problem. It's just more like, that's too bad. The brutal, crazy, twisted, fucked up riffs are gone.
They are gone.
Gone. I mean, they are gone and never to return. In some ways, they kind of return a little bit here and there, but like mostly not. Here, this is the most Sabbath sounding album they have.
It is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just like, you get some mean, nasty stuff like Evil Gypsy, Solomon's Theme.
Yeah, that one's pretty mean, pretty heavy. I do like that one quite a bit. It's like, I don't know. I almost don't like that song. It's like
you've been to the deepest, darkest parts of their soul. You don't want it unless
it's not enough fucked up. That song, it's like, I think there's a charm to how raw it is in the performance in this particular recording. It's like, if you were to show this song to me in any other context, any other recording of that song, I wouldn't be into it. It's like this specific recording that works for me.
I think that's what I mean by these albums are experiences.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, if you hear Dragonaut, maybe you're just like, I don't need to listen to an album, like a whole album from, do I? And I'm like, you actually do.
Well, not all the songs. That is a good point, because not all the songs sound like that anyway. They're not. It's not just an album of Dragonauts, but there are some pretty brutal, heavy, long songs on here, and most of the songs are fairly long.
Mm-hmm.
Got only one of them crosses the double digit mark though. That's From Beyond, and. How much do you like From Beyond?
I love it.
I'm glad. Okay, I do love it as well. It is very good.
I love that it's this 4 minutes of like this subdued, like mellow stuff.
Yeah, vocals would come until like 420.
Like 420. They probably did that on purpose.
I know. There's a lot of moments where like 420 that again, 420 again. All 4 albums.
Also, I should have, but I didn't. I don't know if the lyrics are as like silly and over the top as they'll become.
Will they?
All right, I'm getting a little ahead of myself there. Yeah. So yeah, it's this great like 4 minutes of like, oh, is this like mood setting or what? No, it's a full song. It'll kick you in the dick when it gets revved up. Very
fucking cool riffs, super mean riffs. And the vocals are the same kind of mode throughout. It's like these gruff, monotone kind of semi yells. He's maybe not as gentle as he was on the opener, but he does yell every now and then on this album. But more or less, it's very much in that kind of cleaner style, especially compared to the first album. What else? We got some of the other big ones on here. We got the title track. Might as well talk about the title track.
Oh man.
Or Holy Mountain, whatever.
Yeah, I was like, I know it's the same song over and over again.
Yep.
But there's something about the title track where I'm this like, they are firing on all cylinders here. It's
really that one didn't work for me.
I love it. I think it's one of the best tracks on the album.
It's one of the things where I can't say it's bad for what it's doing. I just don't like the riffs at all. If I don't like the riffs, I can't do anything with it.
There's just, I was talking about how the lyrics become very silly later on. But yeah, there's this like, they're this singing about reptilian masters and sonic titans here. And it's fucking cool.
Nice.
And that's all you need.
The only other song that I'm not too hot on is Aquarian.
Oh no, I like that opening riff.
Oh really?
It's one of my favorite.
That was one stoner rock ass opening riff.
It's one of my favorite Pike riffs.
Oh shit.
It's just like there's something elevating about it, which is not really a word I would use to describe Sleep, despite all the instances of getting high, but you don't really feel like this like elevated feeling.
It makes a lot of sense to me that this is your best and why I'm not so big on it. Cause it is so pentatonic. It's so hard rock. And it's so, that was my ultimate problem with the whole thing. It's so much pentatonic riffs.
Yeah. I went back and forth. It's just, it was really hard for me to give this and something else best because it could go either way. Ask me like a week from now. I might.
I get it. Some Grass.
It's just a solid ass discography.
Fair enough. Some Grass is a transition track, but it's rad.
Delightful. It's a
little blue solo guitar bluegrass thing for 48 seconds.
I wish, they would dabble in that more, although it is a relatively short discography.
Yeah. I don't even know where it would fit in, but I would like to see it jammed in somewhere. It's neat.
Well, it definitely doesn't belong on the next.
Certainly not. But I appreciate it here. Into the Sun starts out real fast, real messy, really aggressive and shouty.
And then it turns into like, it's weird because there's the Sabbath tribute, but I don't know if I'd use like psychedelic too many times. Inside the Sun is one of the times I would be like, that's psychedelic.
I would use the psychedelic for one other song later on, but it's surprising how rare I actually think of psychedelia with this band.
Yeah, for stoner metal, it's very easy to lean back on that, but they seem content to venture more into like doom and
there's a lot more doom than psychedelia. That's for damn sure.
Yeah,
I had no idea both Dragonaut and Some Grass were in Gummo.
I knew about Dragonaut. I didn't know about Some Grass. I still have not. Harmony Korine, you're just a fucking maniac.
I saw Gummo, I think, and I was like, oh man, this is bumming me out. I don't want to fucking finish this.
I think that's how, like, I remember talking to a friend, and he was like, oh yeah, I heard about Sleep because I watched Gummo.
I had a friend, it was like one of her favorite movies ever, and she's like, you gotta watch it. And then I was like, this is why you're fucked up. And I get it now. Jesus Christ.
It would have been a lot cooler if she's like, you got to listen to Holy Mountain.
I'm afraid not. And I wouldn't trust any woman who said, you got to listen to Holy Mountain. No, should you, damn it.
What about a woman who's like, you got to watch Holy Mountain?
You run as fast as you possibly can.
But I can do that as your friend. And I did make you watch Holy Mountain.
And it made us better friends. It's a different dynamic. Nain's Baptism is a cool song, but it's odd to close it with a 3-minute song after we just sat through From Beyond.
I disagree. This is the perfect example of like the anti-crescendo where like we've been building up, we've gone on all these adventures, and it's like this weird, grinding, awkward, sludgy thing.
It is pretty weird. And it's like a proggy, hard to predict. It's on the cleaner side of things, but also one of the ugliest things written.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And it's instrumental as well. I dig it. I think it's a wonky closer, but I dig it as a song.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's like, even though I do think it's overrated, it does a lot of things well, of course. They ditched the death metal brutalist, which breaks my fucking heart, but I mean, this wasn't like a bad move to go into the Sabbathy direction.
Also, like, for a long time, it was like just the 3 albums. So I could see why this was the chosen one.
Yeah.
Between the 3.
Yeah.
Although I think, no, if it was only 3, my choices would be more unhinged.
Interesting. Yeah. I'm interested. But yeah, it's like they're also jammier than ever now. The songs are longer, but this is the jam album for sure. 100%, which is funny considering what we got next. But
well, I don't know if it's like what people do when they jam, but it's not jammy sound.
Yes. Yeah. They just sort of morphed into a thing that I don't necessarily love, but I do get it. The presentation is like such character. It is really intense. I could take or leave the songwriting, but I get it. It's fucking heavy. It's cool. It's brutal. It's got good character. I just don't love me those fucking Sabbathy riffs. That's all it is.
It's really like they're just fucking madmen, and I don't know how to pick out my favorites.
They are indeed madmen, and we are not done. This is Alex's best and a beloved album and a very influential album. So after this album, it says in 1992, Sleep released Holy Mountain, 52 minutes of Sabbath and weed-inspired riffing, which is exactly what it is. It was a turning point for the band, widening their sonic palette for greater appeal. Holy Mountain was a bridge from doom metal to stoner rock, and it quickly became one of stoner rock's most important albums, right up there with Caius's Blues for the Red Sun. Thanks to Holy Mountain, the band became huge in the San Francisco metal scene and beyond. Met with positive reviews and decent fanfare, Holy Mountain gave Sleep some breathing room for their next album after record label Earache dropped the band from the roster. Sleep signed with London Records for 2 reasons, and this is very important for this fucking next album.
Because London Records lied.
They did and they didn't. This is the reason. Okay. London Records promised total artistic freedom, and they also didn't have any other metal acts, which made the band members think that they would receive preferential treatment from the label. They signed a 6-figure deal, and it says the band got to work, and as the legend goes, smoked a lot of weed. You don't say.
They actually, I've brought it up in other podcasts episodes. There's a cool documentary called Such Hawks, Such Hounds, and Sleep does confirm that they spent that record advance money on amps and weed.
Amps and weed.
That's it.
And to be completely fair, they did use the shit out of those amps and that weed on this next album.
They're both so important.
Without those, this next album doesn't exist, dude. There's so many amps and there's so much weed.
Real quick side note: first time I saw Ohm is at in LA. If you've been to LA, there's a venue Echoplex. From one end of the stage to the other, wall of amps, and I didn't realize Ohm was just a 2-piece.
Oh yeah, that's right. Well, they're a 3-piece now. At the time,
yeah, they were 2 pieces, and I was like, there's no way those are all plugged in. There's no way.
And then that hair flew back.
The first fucking note.
Those are on.
Yeah. I mean, if he bought those, he's
going to use them.
Yeah.
Have you seen this guy? I don't think he has a home, but
it's crazy. Him and Rick Rubin look like they should hang out.
Yeah. I have a buddy who looks just like Al, but with no hair instead of all the hair.
Oh man.
It's like the beard and the face. It's like, I know you. But we have a big, the longest song we've ever recorded. Alex, you are excited. I know you're excited.
I am. Whew, man, let's do it.
So this is such a complicated album, and even the release date is complicated. So it was recorded in 1996.
Yes.
It was not released officially at all.
It was not properly.
It was leaked in 1999, and then it was finally given a proper release in 2003.
Yes,
and then it had another reissue in 2012 and 2022.
Yes,
but 99, 2003, those are like 2003 is the version that we're covering essentially now.
Yeah, I mean the reissues these are it's like the full proper version.
The streaming version, the version to find streaming was the 2022 reissue from Third Man Records, but it basically takes the chunk that TP put out in 2003. But this is, here we go, baby, Dopesmoker.
Better believe I timestamp that shit. I don't have song titles, I have timestamps.
You have to.
Yeah. And let me tell you, if you don't like this riff, you're just a fool. Because there's an hour of this riff. You better get real comfy.
It's not like headbanging music. It's like,
it's fucking get stoned off your ass and zen out. It's so loud.
I love
the faces Matt makes when he's like, I can picture his face as he's like, his fucking belly. Should have recorded this shirtless.
Yes, I'm sure you did.
I don't love my body as much as Matt loves his body. Otherwise,
it does, dude.
It's really empowering.
Indeed. So this is basically the first song. It's basically what you can consider the first song.
Section.
Yeah. So, yeah, I have all timestamps because this is, of course, a 63-minute song.
Yes.
Best.
Whoa. I love that. Personal favorite.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't get it at first because I've heard it ambiently. I listened to it on a drive. I thought it'd be perfect driving music. It is not for me.
Yeah.
I was driving. I was in and out, and then I sat down to take my notes on a different day, and it just made sense. It all just like,
that's what this album does. It just makes sense one day. And all the weed smoke and the haze, it's just like the skies part one day, and it makes sense.
It fucking, first of all, has the best production they've ever had. It's so crunchy and fuzzy, and it has this bottom to it where you feel like Al's using a wall of amps.
Yes.
Like it feels that heavy. And there are moments where he does like the Geezer Butler thing where he goes to the high notes and they feel very dubby and powerful. Those are so prominent and loud. They buzz in your skull.
Yes.
It's like, it's actually kind of a lie if you're not like setting yourself up to be in it for the long haul.
If you call yourself a fucking pothead, you think you're about that reefer life. If you can't listen to this album high, I don't want to talk to you.
So I got fucking super stoned and I said, I have to listen to this stoned. I listened to it stoned, liked it better sober.
No,
it doesn't make a lot of sense.
So I don't know if this is true. I couldn't find it, but I remember reading or hearing somewhere that when Pike was like trying to like get this out of his system, it actually wasn't weed. It was mushrooms. He thought he laid out like a 13-minute song, went back, played it back, and he's like, fuck, this is way longer than 13.
When you listen to all these sections that comprise this massive song, they even say it in interviews, the challenge became remembering it all. And not because they're stoned, but because these are such simple riffs that are entirely focused on the rhythm of it. And they're long, drawn out rhythmic sections. And they're all based around an open, I don't know if that's a C or whatever, but it's just an open note. How you remember all this while fucking blitzed out of your mind on weed, I have no idea.
It's so crazy. Like we've talked about, bands trying to recreate a madness like Trout Mask Replica, which is like on like the same coin, but on the other end, just complicated.
Yeah.
But when something is like this slow and this repetitive, it's just as easy to get lost and be like, where the fuck are we? I don't even know if I could be wrong, and if you've seen it, I'm envious. I don't even know if they've ever like played it live in its entirety.
That's a good point. I don't know if I never saw any mentions of them actually doing that.
Because I feel like if they did, it would have been a big fucking deal. I know they've played like sections of it, but like, man, yeah,
it's a whole fucking thing. And it's almost like it's easier to enjoy going into it like a song. Yeah. Because if you're going into it like an album, like, all right, here's this album, you're going to be like, this sounds very similar. But if you're just fucking in it for the ride, like, oh, this is just an intense song that happens to be over an hour.
Yeah.
It's actually kind of fucking rules.
I like it as both. Like it just, because there's a song after, and depending on what version you have, maybe you'll get like Sonic Titan live, or you'll, on this
version,
the newer, there's
Hot Lava Man,
which really just like it's a fine song, but I kind of just wish it was just the one song.
Yeah, it has no business being any bonus track. I feel like has no business. The album is Dopesmoker. In my mind, the album is just Dopesmoker.
I agree.
Yeah, because it feels like it's a I Love a Man is a cool song, but it feels like it's done dirty being like following this thing. You can't possibly.
There's no way.
Yeah.
Also, like this is like full blown peak. Like I remember sitting down reading the lyrics for this for the first time.
Oh my! So the famous line and the first vocals come in around 7 minutes 30, which is technically the second song.
Yeah.
And Al on this album, he's doing a thing that he'll never do again, that he's never done before.
Yeah.
Like I don't know where it came from.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's like a metal chant.
It's these motherfuckers are so in tune, like it's like he knew what the soundtrack for the most recent Dune movie would sound like before they did. Because not on this album, but obviously they're fans of Dune. And yeah, it's just like drop out of life with bong in hand.
Yeah, drop out of life with bong in hand. It's like the goofiest. It's ridiculous.
Proceeds the Weedian Nazareth.
Yeah.
Lungsmen unearth the creed of Hashin. Like,
so it's a concept album. It's actually it's a song, but it's also a concept song of like journeying through the desert to get their bong. Or I mean,
there's like stoner caravans emerging from sea sand.
That sounds very Dune-like. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's just, there's literal weed priest. I'm not abbreviating. It's in the fucking song.
Weed priest.
That's
fucking wacky.
It's so funny because like if like kids, I'd be like, you're fucking idiots.
Yeah.
You're fucking morons. No, but the way it's, I'm like, yes, take me on this weed caravan.
This weed venture.
It is a weed venture.
It's so silly and it sounds like ridiculous. It sounds ridiculous on paper, but it's actually just fun when it's in action.
And I think like delivering it so sincerely too.
Oh, that's what makes me think they're out of their fucking mind. Is the sincerity and them taking it so seriously. That's fucking crazy.
I mean, yeah, I think that like I'm assuming in Ohm too, when they talk about like Jerusalem and these like Middle Eastern cities, it's maybe not exactly that. It's more like a vibe. It's like a place, man, in your mind.
It's a place in your mind, dude. Also, Jerusalem was the nickname they gave this song when they were like working it out.
There we go.
And that's also the name of the first bootleg, the first leaked release of this in 1999. It was altered though. It was shorter. It was separated into 6 tracks. And yeah, it was it's like good 11 minutes shorter. So a lot of this chop was, edited out.
Yeah, there's no reason to listen to that version these days.
No, the 2003 TP issue has like I think Al went on record saying that. I mean, he doesn't think it should have been released, which is fucking nuts. But he says out of all the versions, out of all 4, that's the version that he thinks is the best.
Yeah, and also the artwork on the TP versions is so crazy. I love the new, more like Dune.
Oh inspired, it looks awesome.
If you go up a little more, that one.
With the horse and it
has like multiple legs. Like there's something very weird about that just fits better. Not that the most recent album cover isn't, but
yeah, I do like the most recent one.
It's more clean. It has a misleading like psychedelic vibe to it. It looks like it could be a cover for Yes or something.
Yeah,
maybe not so much, but
it is cool. It's when I think of illustrated metal album covers, they usually tend to be pretty corny. This one doesn't look so corny, even though the lyrics are the most corny.
They absolutely are.
But it still looks pretty fucking rad.
Yeah. Should we talk about the
more music?
Dude. Let's talk about the music and then let's talk about what transpired.
Yeah. So next song comes around 12 minutes 30. It's a variation of that second track, a little bit more Sabbathy, but feels awesome. They're not much tighter, but they're so heavy that it feels incredible.
I think they're really tight. The more recent drummer Jason is awesome, but part of like nostalgically, I miss Chris. Nothing wrong with Jason at all, but I just like.
Yeah, they were the OG.
Yeah.
Is he still in Ohm?
No.
Oh,
he like
cut ties with Al.
Yeah. Also, I fucking forgot to. That's how excited I am. The guitar player that was only on volume 1, he like became a monk.
Oh, whoa, dude!
He gave it up, and he's making music with Chris. But yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So he ventured into monkdom, and then he got tired of it,
and he was publishing zines as a monk. Like I said, he was only in the band for a quick second, and even he's like interesting and crazy.
That's so wild. These people are fucking nuts. Around
Anyway, yeah.
What was it? So here we haven't heard Matt shred like this in a fucking while. Around 14 minutes 30. Killer guitar solo.
You know, for an hour-long song, I would think there'd be way more guitar solos.
So few. There's a ton on the next album, but on here,
I think there's like 3.
Yeah.
Is this my favorite? No, the second one's my favorite, but yeah, it starts off kind of more like a traditional, like classic rock guitar solo, and then this gets like echoey and psychedelic, and then Matt Pike's gonna do what he's gonna do, and it's just shred.
He's very good. He's an underrated guitar player, like in terms of like shredding abilities.
It's insane to me. Rolling Stone like listed him as one of the best guitar players one year, and like,
really?
Yeah.
Even those fucks gave it up.
Even they knew what was up, and now it's just
He's
like,
man, dude.
It's crazy. I think High on Fire is coming up on the 20-year anniversary.
Holy shit!
And that's High on Fire, not Sleep.
Exactly.
So Sleep's, anyways.
Yeah, it's holy shit. Around 1640, vocals come back in, and I find them to be mixed weirdly louder than everything else. It's the only time I think the vocals are mixed badly. But I mean, these are the sparsest of sparse vocal lines. I'm talking one line every 3 to 4 minutes.
That is another reason I think it'd be insanely hard to do live.
Why?
Just the vocal. Like, even if you like nailed the music, like, oh, I have to remember to jump in here.
They come in at the most, it's seemingly random, because we can kind of separate the timestamps into what we feel like are sub songs. They're all so similar though. So it's not exactly.
I want to see someone perform this with like fucking sheet music.
You need it. It would be a fucking encyclopedia, dude. Yeah. You need 3 little page turners with you.
Also, you brought up like Al's unique singing. Yeah, he does do some of that like Tuvan throat singing at parts too. They're
like these monotone growls. He hits one note on the whole album. It's that one note. It's in the same key as everything else. It's like Tuvan throat singing. It's gruff and it's fucking rad. It fits perfectly, and he'll never do it again.
Yeah.
It's just so weird.
You know what I wonder is around like 8:54 is we get our first, not a complete pause, but there's like these moments where it's just like feedback and not much else.
A lot of like Melvin style droning. Solo guitar droning.
I wonder if you would have to like break the song up like that. Like, this is the first like break. Maybe.
And I suppose if we listen to this album like 10,000 times, we could kind of like pinpoint exactly where the changes are.
The bands, that one band that like dedicates their life to playing Captain Beefheart live, I want like one night only do this.
It would be a challenge and a different kind of challenge. Yeah. Jesus. So another section, song, whatever, comes in around 22:50. It's easy to call these songs when you hear the vocals come back in because of like the long stretches without it. There's like a really fucking lengthy, super sludgy, drony guitar section around 21 minutes. And from like 22:50 all the way to like 30:40, it all feels kind of like one big giant song.
It does. There's little breaks there, like around 35 minutes. Like the drums go into double time, which is like it's unexpected, even if you're really familiar with the song. Because this doesn't do double time. There's no reason.
Once in a blue moon, around 35:30 though, this is where the Geezer Butler sounding shit comes in. Very dubby. I'll tell you, man, when you're super duper high, that bass hurts. It's a lot.
There's just something about their overall thing where it's like they need the bass, the guitar, everything. This needs to like reverberate from like head to toe.
It has to buzz. It doesn't make you buzz. It literally has to make you feel that way. But that whole chunk, like from 35 and a half to 40 and a half minutes, it's so fucking cool. That bass line really reminds me of Roman Dogbird from the Melvins. It's similar, but god damn, it's so fucking right. And then another amazing solo around 38:55.
I think that's my favorite one.
It borders on shoegaze. It's
crazy. It's this like sonic wall of sound that I don't know. It's crazy how he has this genre of music that he loves, but he can always find these like unexpected avenues to take his guitar solos and then still like shred it up. Yeah.
Yeah, he has different styles of shredding too. Like what you hear on this album won't be so much of what you hear on the next one. The big chunk from 48:45 to around 58 and a half, 58:30, that's probably my least favorite chunk in the whole album. If I were to call that a song, it would be my least favorite song. It's not like it's just more a big chunk that feels basically the same.
I like how absurd, like they're like world building, like Sonic Titans will come back. Like this is like the first mention of a marijuana knot.
Oh yeah.
I said that very lame, but
marijuana.
Yeah. Marijuana. Yeah. I think that's the first, and then we'll get a song later.
We get a whole, the whole anthem. So that's like that whole, 45 section. That's sort of the last big chunk before it returns. I think it returns around 58 and a half is when it returns to the very first riff, or at least a variation of it. And then it goes into like the first, drop out of life with bong and hand section, which is the best. And it closes it out with that whole section. It carries on until the end pretty much.
Yeah. I think the like last 10 seconds is like my favorite variation on the riff. I think I agree with you. Like the first 2/3 are stronger, but I don't know. There's something about the way that riff's played where I'm like, it
is pretty fucking great.
It's just a great fucking album song.
My only issue is that it ends just like a song.
It does.
It doesn't end like an album. It just ends like the way any song would end. It's kind of anticlimactic.
I guess, yeah, if you were like giving me this visual of this marijuana knot escaping Earth to cultivate, like give me this like,
I don't know, something.
This like sonic ring.
There's not a long ring at the end. It just sort of ends. It ends fairly quickly too, which is interesting.
Yeah. Also, third solo's my least favorite.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Still good. But, it's not the first two solos.
No, those first two solos. Oh boy. Yeah. I mean, I wasn't convinced this was best on my first listen. I had thoughts and doubts even before going into this, but it seems obvious now. Like
I've been so fascinated by this album for so long, and like it's just always been crazy to me. So I didn't think I would give it best, but I'm just like the way this album draws my attention, I had to give it personal.
I think it feels like a clear best. I mean, because it's influenced by Sabbath, but it's not blatantly copying them the way I felt like the last album had a lot of, and it flows the way an album should. At least an album, it flows the way this type of album should.
Yes,
where it gets super hypnotic at various points. It has this consistent feel to it, and with enough. It's not like there's not a whole lot of variation. It's not the most diverse thing ever, but it just somehow works. And an album like this has no business working.
It's, as the kids would say, it's literally a masterpiece.
It's one piece. Yeah, it's definitely one piece.
It is a fucking weed stoner metal doom masterpiece, and I don't know if anyone can even come close.
This is not happening again. This album is not happening again.
And you know what? Even if someone did, I don't think it would feel genuine.
Because that's where we get into the recording of this and why this is even more of a special album. And the fact that it shouldn't even have come out and kind of didn't. So the lore behind this album is, so they signed with London because, like we said before, they said full artistic freedom. And you're our only metal band, so you know we want to push you guys extra hard.
Those motherfuckers at London had no idea.
They had no idea what they're asking for. Oh my God. So the writing of this was already fucking weird. So this thing, it says, recording Dopesmoker should have been simple enough. The band had been playing it for years on stage and in hotel rooms while they crisscrossed the touring circuit. But the song, nicknamed Jerusalem because of the Middle Eastern influences on the band and the sound of the song itself, proved incredibly difficult to capture. First was the technical issues. Recording a 60-minute song on tape proved problematic because a reel-to-reel tape only holds 22 minutes at a time. This meant the final copy had to be spliced together perfectly, and the band had to split the song into 3 different sections. Already, where did they cut those? I don't know.
I'm going to assume on the drone parts.
Maybe.
If I was a betting man.
I could have sworn there were some spots where I noticed a cut. I noticed a shift, but I couldn't tell you where those were or if I was just high. Then there were the artistic challenges. 60 minutes is a lot of material to remember. Yes, it is, especially on a meandering track like Dopesmoker. Playing wasn't made any easier by their studio setup. Recording engineer Billy Anderson, who's been with them since the beginning, is on record saying that the guitars were recorded on custom-built amps designed to be so loud no one from the band was capable of going to the same room as them.
Yes. You take that record advance money. Forget being financially liberated.
No.
And you just pour that shit straight into your art in the stupidest, best way possible.
To the point where you literally can't even hear it because it will ruin your ears.
This is fucking Spinal Tap, but these go to 11.
These literally go to 11. Well, those literally went to 11, but these
fucking go to 11.
This is something else, dude. When the music blasted through the amps, more than half a dozen microphones stood nearby to pick up the monstrous sound waves billowing through the air. Sleep's Dopesmoker was a powerful force. You don't say. Now, as we're getting things get a little messier. Worse, the band couldn't settle on a final version, although they rehearsed the song numerous times in casual settings. Entering the studio threw them off their rhythm. The process became so difficult, they actually bought studio time on 2 different occasions with a meaty break in between for the band to refocus. The process of recording caused the band members to second guess themselves, and the song gradually grew slower and darker.
I love that this was maybe a shorter song.
And got slower and darker and grew to 63 minutes.
Like, this isn't already difficult enough. Do you guys want to make it more difficult? Yes. Okay.
According to Matt Pike, they had multiple versions of the song by the time they finally left the studio the second time. Imagine multiple versions of
dude.
As if all of that wasn't enough, there was the subject matter. Although it's a single song, Dopesmoker is a concept album at heart, telling the tale of the Weedians trekking through the desert to pick up their bongs and get high.
Yes.
All right. So this is where it was already going messy, but this is where it went bad. London Records may have originally granted Sleep artistic freedom, but the rep who eventually received Dopesmoker wasn't pleased. The label refused to release the album as a 1-hour song, and the band refused to budge. Now, what I read also is that their original rep was replaced.
Messed with it. Yeah.
Yeah. The guy who originally negotiated with them and said, fucking, you got it all. He was gone.
Oh, that would cause issues. Yeah.
So they brought someone else in and they weren't too keen on the hour-long song.
I wonder why. Imagine being like a sleazy record executive and you think like you're going to go in and run this big record label and you have to go come deal with this mess.
Yeah. I mean, how do you come into this one halfway through? They spent all their budget on amps and weed.
Yes.
So this led to a full-on deadlock between the band. They refused to release it edited in any way, and London didn't want to put out an hour-long song. So it didn't get put out, and the band broke up.
I do not know of any other success. Well, depending what your terms of success, but let's go successes. You're well known to, you may not be financially but you're well known, people respected. I can't think of a respected band that broke up purely as like a fuck you to the label.
It's either compromise or break up.
There's something like so beautiful about that, and I think it just like added to the legend of Sleep.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And it's literally, we recently talked about fucking Buddy Holly. It's kind of the same thing. Maybe they didn't die in a horrible plane crash, but they died at the peak of like their artistic insanity. Yeah. And there it is. They're now legend. They're now forever immortalized because of that.
And I can't even be angry because unlike a at the drive-in situation where they break up and you get like an awesome band like the Volta, which I think the Volta is better, and then like a shitty band like Sparta. I love Ohm and High on Fire just as much as Sleep. So it's just like, it's just a fucking cool little universe these 3-4 guys have built for themselves.
Yep, they broke up. Matt went on to form High on Fire, and then Al and Chris formed Ohm. And yeah, that was pretty much it. And then it wasn't until 99 where the album leaked. But it didn't reach like a legit release until 2003, of course. But Jesus Christ. And so it says right here on the wikis, Cisneros felt it should not have been released, while Pike was content with its release, saying, "We did all the work, so why leave it sitting around?"
Yes, sir.
And to think that this still wasn't the version that they submitted.
Also, imagine Pike being the voice of reason.
That is, yeah. I mean, as he stands there with his belly, no shirt. Was it? Cisneros said, he says, "I don't remember the Dopesmoker thing. I don't think the Dopesmoker thing is the exact version that we submitted, but that's the closest one that's come out of the 4. If I had to pick a favorite, that would be it." I'm wondering, like, well, then what was the actual one they submitted?
Yeah, like,
did he just get high and forget? Maybe it is.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Maybe there'll be like the like most complete version one day where it's like all 4 versions in like one spot. I do like that. If you go to the Third Man Records, you can get an exclusive vinyl printed with actual weed leaves in them.
Ooh, damn, that is going above and beyond.
Yeah, there's probably like people who sell it online, but like it's like exclusive for their store only.
Oh, shit. Interesting. That's pretty fucking cool. But yeah, I mean,
sounds like a waste of weed.
Yeah, it grows. It literally grows on trees. I mean, but yeah, I mean, holy shit. They will my best, Alex's personal favorite. It is a fucking experience. It is intense. You gotta set yourself up. You set up your environment for it. It's something else.
It's one of the most like unique, crazy adventures you could take in hard rock. Like,
it is one of the most unique metal albums in existence by far.
On paper, you're like, what is this? But once you release yourself to the Weedians,
yeah, it's a tough one too, because you can't listen to it you can listen to it in sections, but it's like, there's no, it's really like, you got to be ready for the journey. You're ready to walk through the deserts with your Weedian brethren to find your bong and get high. That's what you have to do.
And eventually ascend to cultivate.
Ascend to cultivate. And now we have a reunion.
Well, yeah, they reformed in 2009.
Oh, I didn't realize it was that.
Yeah.
Long before this next album.
I thought they'd be like a Rage Against the Machine thing where they like get back together here and there. And I'm glad they got back together. Seen them a number of times. Exhausting each and every time. I
almost fell asleep during sleep. I like the band a lot, but it is a lot.
It feels like you're listening to the same song.
It is, but also there's something, because I believe we were like right in front.
Yes.
And when something is that loud, and we had earplugs in because we're pussies, but also because he has a wall of amps. So we're in the front, and it's the vibrations of it are almost like massaging.
That's a good way to. It's so crazy. There's 3 fucking guys. Like I've seen like Slipknot or the Volta with like 8 or 10 members, and it doesn't like drain you the way this does.
It's like it's a lot of it. What it feels like the same song. It's really slow and heavy, but once you get over because especially if you have your earplugs in, it's not like blowing your face off. It's just kind of massaging your body with these vibrations, these heavy bassy vibrations. Yeah. And it's actually like relaxing. It makes you want to go to sleep. It's like the opposite of what I bet they're trying to do, but it's pretty fucking wild. Anyway, they reunited in 2009, but they are back with this.
Oh, before that, they released a single called The Clarity.
Uh-huh.
It's a 10-minute epic. Of course it is. It starts off kind of electronic-y, and then we're on to what we know and love. And and it's sleep.
It's sleep. It makes sense. But now it is time for the final album and the reunion. Here we go, baby.
I wasn't.
I'm going to talk extra slow.
I wasn't even ready. I was just so excited.
This came out in the year of our Lord 2018. This is The Sciences.
Hell yeah, brother. Gotta have that bong rip. This is the marijuana thing. Hell yeah, it is. Also, Chris is gone. Okay. He was part of the first few reunion shows.
Oh, okay.
Replaced with Neurosis drummer.
Oh, he's from Neurosis. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, he's a heavy hitter.
Yeah. Hell yeah, he is.
That's a great riff. Nothing like... it's brief. I can't want more of that riff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we never got anything like that from that before.
This is like
Saturn rises, gravity dies.
Yet another vocal style. Now it's the talk singing.
This is more like what he does in Ohm.
Okay, yeah.
Council is low, beyond the known. That picture sustains what's to its own. Traverse galactic sea, inhaler of the rift tree.
So that is a pretty fucking rad opener, and I'm giving this one Worsley's favorite. Yeah.
I almost gave this best.
Really?
Because in a way, I feel like it's the most sleep album.
It is the most making me sleepy album, that's for sure. And it's a good album. It's actually, I would say, a stellar reunion album.
It's one of the best reunion albums. And it's like, they're finally, it's weird because they're their own thing on Dopesmoker.
Yeah.
But that is just such a like behemoth.
It sure is.
Also, I just noticed Al was credited as playing a water pipe. I wonder what that is.
Oh, yeah.
Stupid. But amazing. Yeah. This album rules. I really wanted to give it best, but end of the day, I was just, there's something about Holy Mountain.
The charm, there's a personality to it. This is way tighter. It's way heavier than that one. I felt the song's way less memorable. About as maybe a little bit less, but on the same par of Sabbathy as Holy Mountain as well.
I think it's less Sabbath.
It's less, but it's closer to that than Dopesmoker, or obviously the debut.
To me, this feels like, not lyrically, but musically, them at their most mature. And it really does, like, you can hear the Ohm stuff and the High on Fire stuff in here. And it kind of like, I don't know what the correct word is, but they like haphazardly, accidentally created a supergroup.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how I feel about it, where
Yeah.
it's like Sleep was the first band, but because they've been apart for so long and have developed these two distinctly
different bands,
different bands, and then they come together here, and it's just, I love it.
Interesting way to put it. So there's a couple reasons why this one I didn't like nearly as much as the others. The number one is these are my least favorite Al vocals across the board. And compared to every album, it's the least interesting. It's the most calm and quiet and talky. I love the screams. I love the weird the weird tube and throat singing shit. I loved even I liked how we did on Holy Mountain. I didn't love it, but I did like it. Here it just feels like the least interesting. And then the two gargantuan songs on here. There's 3 gargantuan songs, but specifically, I'm sorry, Sonic Titan and Antarctic Thaw. Those are like, I don't love those.
Okay. I have mixed feelings about those. I'm glad, they got proper studio, but then because they were originally written during Dopesmoker, they do feel a bit out of place.
Yeah. So
I can get that, but I still think they're fucking amazing songs.
Also, I have a question. On streaming, Giza Butler follows Antarctic Thaw. On this track listing on Wiki, it's before it. It's track 4 on Wiki. It's track 5 on streaming, and there's no explanation.
Oh,
nope. The original, there it is. The original 2018 release had the version that we listen to is like the right. I don't know why this is. I think it's a reissue, and they switched the order of the songs.
Yeah, it's all third man. So I wonder why that was,
and also why the Wiki has the reissue track listing instead.
To the original. But
yeah. Anyway.
I think, I don't know. I like this version because I was so used to the live version of Sonic Titan that I do genuinely like this version more. I think it's great. Also skipped over some important lyrics and marijuana.
Yeah.
Would capsule splash down into the THC SEA.
The THC.
It's
poetry.
It is. I'm so glad he didn't give up on the Dopesmoker type lyrics.
You can't give up on who you are at your core.
No, you can make a heady intellectual yoga metal band like Ohm.
Yeah, that's what they are. They're a yoga metal band.
And they fucking rule.
I haven't heard enough. Only heard little bits.
It does kind of venture. Their albums are different to me. I'll recommend you 2 and then you can go from there. But
right.
Yeah, you can't run from the THC, bro.
No, you cannot. Nor should you. Or maybe you can swim from it though.
You can swim it.
Giza Butler. It opens with a bass of its namesake. It's very Giza Butler sounding bass, but goddamn, this is a pretty fucking rad song. It's like one of my favorites on the album for sure.
It fucking rules. As a sci-fi nerd who loves heavy music, and now because my body hates me, the idea of psychedelics, I feel like Giza Butler was like made for me in a lot of ways. I think it's perfect.
It's one of the most, I would say the most psychedelic thing they've ever done.
Yeah. And then there's like these lyrics of like Ionic Pentecost.
Yeah.
If you're a Dune fan, instead of I forget what it is in Dune, but in here it's the bong Gerard.
The what?
The bong jar.
What's the original? You know the original?
Scroll down. I think it does say if it go up. There we go.
The Gom Jabbar. And they changed to Bong Jabbar.
And then
Madib is now Madoob.
Yes.
How? So I've always had this impression of Al as this really serious stone-faced guy.
He is.
He's Madoob. He's a fucking cartoon character.
And then the last notable one that I love, a CB Deacon.
That's pretty cool.
Hell
That's
yeah.
not bad.
It's so funny because I hear a lot of musicians who like lean into weed so much and it is their fucking identity. And I find it kind of annoying.
It's pretty cringy, yeah.
But there's something about sleep.
There's something that feels really completely deranged about it. Like
that's the key word.
Yeah.
Other people are too serious or it's too fucking silly. And in ways but there's the deranged factor. And I think that's what puts it over the top.
I feel like if he's taking it this year, I feel like he's legitimately out of his mind. That's the only thing I can actually rationalize about the whole thing.
And then
the botanist,
dude,
fucking insane.
Amazing instrumental, like their most adventurous thing, like
their most
fucking acoustic guitars.
That's the only acoustic they've ever done, right?
They did a single after this or near this album called Leagues Beneath.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, Leagues Beneath and the Botanist share like similar DNA.
Okay.
And if these guys want to record another album, kind of taking those two songs as like the point, I'd be very interested.
The Botanist is easily one of my all-time favorite Sleep songs. It's their most melodic song by fucking light years. And it's super jammy. It's a fucking shred fest too. We didn't mention like every song Matt is soloing all over the fucking place.
He's had a taste of High on Fire, shred, thrash stuff, and he's not going back.
It is, and he's like going ham. It's not just some random little tapping solo. I mean, he's fucking going at it.
Like Mike said, one of the most underappreciated guitarists working, not just in metal, in fucking music.
Yeah. And while it's the most different song I think they've ever done, it doesn't feel like a sore thumb or anything. It doesn't feel like out of place or anything. It's just a rad closer. It really did perk me up at the end. I mean, I like Giza Butler a lot, but I wasn't expecting them to go in that direction. Definitely wasn't expecting acoustic guitars. No, and
that's what I get what you're saying about like Sonic Titan and Antarctic's Thawed being like, you know, there are these leftover songs where like Botanist, Giza Butler, and Marijuana, like they kind of share a similar DNA.
Yeah, they feel like a step forward. You recognize it as Sleep 100%. Yeah, but they do feel like they're doing more things. It's exactly that. I didn't realize that Sonic Titan and Antarctic's Thawed were older songs, but now it makes complete sense why they're my least favorite songs.
Yeah,
but they also take up almost half of the entire album. So it's like that is why I gave it that along with the vocals.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, goddamn, I mean,
I almost gave it best.
I mean, for a reunion album, that's pretty fucking amazing.
Were we doing the podcast I don't know why.
No, we weren't.
Okay, we did it 2019. Yeah. This probably would have. I mean, it made it on a ton of.
Oh, it did it.
Ton of year-end lists.
Oh yeah, it would have made mine as well. Yeah, I mean, easily.
It's worse, but it would have.
Yeah, but it's a good band.
In the year 2018, it's the best.
And it is a good point. I don't remember what came out in 2018, but then again, 2019 was spectacular. So it's probably not too far off. But my worst and least favorite, but Alex is real big on it, and it's still a good album. Sleep is a good band. It's just you have to be into what it's doing. You have to be buying what it's selling.
They're kind of a whole journey, and depending on the type of music you like, there can be these little different entry points.
Yeah. Also, this was mixed by Noah Landis, who's a keyboard player he's Neurosis keyboard player.
Okay.
Which I didn't even realize that. And then it was mastered by Bob Weston of Shellac and Electrical Audio and all the stuff there.
That makes sense because I know has worked with Albini too. So
it's perfect. That's what I was bitching and moaning about with was it Burning Witch? How I just crave more Albini production with these brutal bands. It sounds fucking awesome.
Yeah. They announced like an indefinite hiatus and then
did they?
And then they are like, I feel like then the pandemic happened and then they probably needed some money. Although I don't know. I feel like people go and watch High on Fire and Ohm. So maybe
during the pandemic, I mean, no musician was doing well.
Well, yeah, I almost wonder if they make more money touring as Sleep than they do on their other two bands.
They might. It's an interesting. I'm not sure.
You know what? Yeah, I've seen Sleep at bigger venues than I've seen High on Fire on my own. So yeah,
interesting. Yeah,
which is crazy because they should just do a show where all three bands play. Probably exhausting.
Oh my God, that's exhausting. One Sleep set alone for them to play. I mean, Jesus Christ.
I think you'd have to do Ohm, High on Fire, then Sleep, and then Matt probably needs like a good break between High on Fire and Sleep.
Yeah,
or he is a maniac. Maybe he can do both.
They are getting older though.
Yeah, maybe you don't do a tour, just a one-off show.
Do a benefit.
For weed. Do it for weed.
Do it for weed. How about that? You sold them for sure. But let's do a little recap.
Worst, least favorite, volume 1. A little rough around the edges. Still a cool listen. Best, Holy Mountain. There's just something really charming about it. And then personal favorite, Dopesmoker. We'll never ever talk about another album like that ever again. Not because we don't want to, but it just doesn't exist.
We will never get it. I mean, we will not get another album like that.
No.
For me, volume 1, personal favorite. It's fucking the craziest and most brutal and different sounding out of all of them. It's fucking intense, rough, sure, but I think it adds to the charm. And Dopesmoker. That is best. It's just it's an experience, baby. It's an experience. And the Scientist, worst least favorite, just happens to have 2 gigantic songs that I'm not hot on. And that's pretty much what's sealed it, as well as Al's vocals. But as far as reunion albums go, he could do a lot worse than that one, baby.
It would have made his year end.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, brother. So thank you so much for listening and watching and hanging out and fucking being cool. Talk some shit in the comments if you hate us. If you want to do that, subscribe and like us if you're better than the other ones who didn't do that. Yeah, that, whatever. Follow me on social media at PanderMonkey and Alex on Instagram at
Every Album Alex.
And please follow our history guy, Tom Osman, at Tom Osman Sounds on all social media, as well as TomOsmanSounds.com for all his music projects. He did a lot of work for us and you should help him and support him. Please join the Patreon. Patreon.com/every album ever. That's where you go. You get some bonus episodes. You get to see our schedule in advance. You get to vote on polls to decide who we cover next. You can join our Discord and be a part of our community, as well as suggest our EAE singles episode. We pick many of the suggestions from the Discord directly. And if you're fucking bigger than Jesus, if you're better than all the rest, if you're tier 2, you can suggest a full discography for us to cover on our bigger, longer numbered episodes. So go there, do that, please. And thank you. Also check out my EP. There's a link to that in the description. Cool. And let's wrap it. What we gonna wrap with?
Geezer Butler.
Why not? Holy shit. That's people would have gone for something off Holy Mountain. People would have chosen minutes 7:30 to 8:50 of Dopesmoker. But you're going Geezer Butler.
If I had time to keep, I don't want to pay attention to the song.
That would be too hard.
Yes.
Hell yes. Geezer Butler, thanks so much for listening and watching. See ya.